MED, the National Eligibility Test for Teachers, NET, with honors, mind you, and a PhD to boot. Well, we are talking about our guest for today, Dr. Pramila Kudva. She collects degrees like we collect stamps. Hi ma'am, what a pleasure having you here.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Let's start straight away. You've been working across various ICSE schools, from Podar to Hasnat, AVM to Pawar, teacher, principal. You have seen it all. What role, taking your multi-checkered career into consideration, what role do you envisage that technology will play in shaping the future of education?
To answer your question, I would like to take you back to World War II. The American Army was in dire need of training. So they got in touch with Hollywood, and with the help from the universities, they made movies to train their soldiers. They were so impressed with the success that they continued to experiment, continued to research, and moved on to television and the learning techniques. Thomas Alva Edison, I believe, had said sometime that movies will be making their roads into the classrooms. This was the very first teaching aid that we are aware of. It is 1940s that I talked about. Things have moved since then. The world has gone ahead. The technology is here to stay. Today's learners are the net generations, and they are called the digital natives. To sum up, I quote Rupert Murdoch. I don't understand technology, he said, but you don't have to. You have to understand what it can do for you. Technology will supplement, technology will complement the teachers in the classroom. It helps them to introduce the class, it helps them to engage the students, it helps them to clarify the concepts, it helps them to assess what has been taught. There is nothing that technology cannot do. The virtual space helps the technology to connect to the remotest corner of India. It is happening, and I don't think there is anything more that I am left to say.
Fantastic. So technology is really doing its money's worth in education, right? And talking about what Robert Murdoch said, that you have to just understand what it can do for you. Technology, I believe, is a great enabler for inclusive education, right? And
Yes.
Somewhere down the line, we find that self-paced learning is now becoming a key factor, because we talk about inclusive education, and even then there is a gap between the student and his or her peers. What do you think about that?
In our school, we have 25% RTE students. There are times where the gap is large. We do meet our parents. There are times where we have to come down and explain the simplest of the simple concepts in their local lingo. We make them believe that we are really interested in them. We make them understand that they matter to us, and that is when we can make some difference. And there are children who are not able to cope with the curriculum. We have something called assisted learning program, which we conduct on a regular basis. Sometimes when we give homework to the children, these parents are not able to understand. So we have to translate what we have given it to them in Hindi or Marathi, as the case may be. And we try and help the children who have special learning disability. We call them the special children. We scale down the syllabus for them. We have a special question paper for them. And at times we call them aside after they have written down the examination, ask them to give the answers orally and help them. And I think it has helped us, and it has helped the children.
Wow.
That's what matters.
Yes, it really matters. I mean, It's human service that you're doing it, and I can just imagine how grateful those parents will be, and the students, of course.
I don't know if they're grateful, but we are happy that we have made a difference.
Fantastic, fantastic. Okay, now going back to the other 75%, right? Students are natives to technology. I mean, it looks like as if because those are the toys they have been playing with. But sensitizing parents to the use of technology and to the advantages of using technology in education is a different thing altogether. Do you agree on that?
If I may be permitted to say this, bacche to bacche, baap re baap. Children are always easier to handle than the parents. And children take up to the technology like a fish takes to the water.
Exactly.
But parents have their little bit of misgivings here and there. So what we do is, we have an e-campus wherein the circulars, the homework, the question banks, the notes, the newsletter, you name it, we upload it. So we sensitize the parents to the use of the e-campus. We orient them at the beginning of the year, and every now and then when they have some problem, some difficulty, some hesitation in using it, they are free to approach the teacher and sort out their queries or concerns, as the case may be. This helps them.
Okay, from training B.Ed teacher aspirants to developing content for Navneet, for Z, managing a corporate profile at Bombay Dine. Quite a multitasker, aren't you?
Well, I suppose so. I moved to the corporate from a B.Ed college. Working in Z and Navneet was quite interesting because I was not cut off from academics. I was heading the web content at Z. At that time, whatever we were doing was a little way ahead of time. So it didn't work out. So I moved to Bombay Dine. Initially it was interesting, but then I started missing school. So middle level management pays well, but it didn't make me feel good. So I came back to academics with a 40% downward revision in salary as a principal of a school. No regrets, I'm happy.
True teacher, aren't you? As a teacher, we need to accept the fact that the younger generation is always going to be quicker with technology. As I had quoted, these are the toys they've played with, right? So, do you feel that as teachers, we should be willing to learn the benefits and the uses of technology?
We always need to learn. Learning starts from the cradle and it goes on till the very end. But learning from students has its plus points. Looking at an analogy, we help our parents in using our debit cards, using credit cards, in doing online transfer. Isn't it the same thing?
Yes, exactly.
So there should be no hesitation in accepting something that the student tells you or asking the student to help you.
Beautiful. A wonderful analogy. Wonderful. You've authored more than 15 articles on various pedagogical approaches in education. What, according to you, would be the greatest value add or maybe adds that a teacher can bring to her classroom or his classroom?
The teacher's profile, to my mind, is made up of three things: preparation, delivery, and student participation. But the biggest value add that one can add to a classroom is understanding and empathy. We had a farewell for the 10th standards not too long ago, and they had a musical skit. They enacted everything that they do in the class, in the school, and it finally culminated in the principal's office. Nobody found it amiss. All of us clapped, all of us cheered. The bottom line here is, when there is freedom, there is no fear. So we need to understand the children. We have several initiatives where we make the children sensitize to the environment, empathize with those who are less privileged than we are. I would like to narrate some of those. On the sports day, we invited children from a tribal school to run the 100 meters and 200 meters with our children. They ran barefoot. Our children came back and asked me, "Ma'am, can we sponsor some shoes for them?"
Wonderful. Really wonderful.
And the chief guest for our sports day are our own students who have achieved laurels at maybe the district level, regional level, state level, or even at the national level. And the young babies come and ask me, "When will I get a chance to be here?"
As a chief guest.
As a chief guest.
You're not just all about degrees, right? Yes.
No, most definitely not.
Yes. 29 different workshops on varied educational topics such as the uses and benefits of technology, stress management, psychology, situational approach to teaching English, etc.
Yeah.
How do you adapt our curriculum to the varieties of technologies that are available today at the click of a finger?
It cannot happen at the click of a finger. It requires some planning and it requires some perseverance, and we invest a lot in upskilling of the teachers on a regular basis, because teachers wear multiple hats. They need to do a lot of juggling, and there are a lot of demands from the modern age parents and students to keep pace with this. They have to learn the varied techniques, the multiple techniques, the methodology, and they have to keep abreast with the changing technology. So regular upskilling is, I think, the talk of the day.
Yes, and the need of the hour.
The need of the hour, absolutely.
Wow, it's been a fantastic time talking to you, Doctor. Finally, your advice, because you have been in this leadership position at various institutions since a long time, your advice to school leaders, to school teachers on how they can be a part of the system by not only accepting change, but I guess by expecting change too.
I have one simple answer. A principal is a leader, a principal is a planner, a principal is a facilitator, a mediator, face of the school, a disciplinarian with soft skills. All that is fine. But one thing that the principal needs to do is to learn to balance the head and the heart.
Okay. So that's the simple answer?
It's the most difficult one to do.
Yes, it's the most difficult. To find a balance between the head and the heart.
Yes, it's most difficult.
But then that's what a true leader is all about.
That's what we need to practice, because at the end of the day, they are children.
Fantastic. Friends, it's really been an amazing time speaking to Doctor and getting her to talk about what she is thinking all the while regarding education, pedagogy, inclusive education, teacher, learner, trainer, everything. Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure having you here.
My pleasure. Thank you.
God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you.